this on season 7, episode 21, where we watch The Traitors, season 1, episode 1 on Peacock. And this podcast is on fleek. I'm Chris Lorenz.
In fact, Sherlock Holmes was my great-great-grandfather's cousin. This is Brian.
I am Maxedict Arnold.
So Max, I believe this was on the podcast. I'm not sure, but Max says on fleek is no longer a thing. But what happened in this podcast, in this episode of television, Brian?
It was used.
Boom.
Wow.
Boom.
I mean, I proved with Google Trends that it was very much on the downturn, and yet here we are.
I know. I think it's like sneaky backdoor action part of culture.
Maybe.
All right. If this is your first time listening, we watch a different reality show each week, figure out if it's good or bad. And last week, we watched Van Gogh, and we put a poll on Twitter, and you guys said it was a bottom third show. Sue agreed with us that it was a bottom third. I probably should have had top of the bottom as an option, and then we could have all agreed across the board. But Brian, what show did we watch this week?
This week we watched The Traitors. 20 of America's most cunning contestants, a mix of famous faces and everyday Americans, play the ultimate murder mystery game. Hosted by award-winning actor Alan Cumming at an ancient castle in Scotland, they will work together on an exhilarating missions to build a prize fund worth up to $250,000. But hidden amongst the faithful contestants are the traitors, whose goal is to eliminate the faithful and claim the prize for themselves. Under the cover of darkness, the traitors will murder the faithful one by one in a treacherous spree, while the players try to uncover the traitors and banish them from the game. If the faithful contestants banish all the traitors, they will share the prize fund. But if a traitor makes it to the end, they will steal all the money. And you can find The Traitors on Peacock.
Including season 1 is free to view.
Hell yes.
The whole season is?
Episode 1, not the whole season. I lied.
So the good show description that pretty much describes the whole show.
Yep.
It's an episode. It's a whole season of television of people playing like werewolves with
Mafia. Yeah.
Mafia, where
it's Mafia meets the Mole.
But like Mafia always had a traitor.
Sure, I'm just saying Mafia doesn't have a reality show analog.
Yeah. This is the reality show version of where Mafia. The one I played a lot was Resistance. Same thing.
Yep.
This is okay. So you got 20 people, 10 of them pseudo like reality celebrities, aka E-list celebrities, 10 regular people. They're on the show. 3 traitors are picked at some point, and then they go on a mission to earn money, and then the traitors decide who to murder somebody, and then the episode's over. You don't get who was murdered. Like, you still got 20 people in the show by the end of this episode. So
gotta have those cliffhangers, Chris.
We got to talk about this right away because it's bothering the hell out of me.
Okay.
Is like the traitors and the regular people are all trying for the same thing. They're trying to earn money. The only difference between the traitors and the regular people are like, if the traitor gets to the end, he wins all the money. Or at least splits the pot if multiple traitors make it to the end, right?
Yeah.
Like, but how are you supposed to find them if they don't really have different goals than you do?
Interesting. Yeah, because in the Mole, you are incentivized to screw with other people.
Yeah, you're incentivized to every version of this game I've ever seen is the traitors are supposed to be trying to sabotage the missions.
Yeah.
And in this one, they're trying to complete the missions because everyone wants money. The only way you can figure who the traitor is if somebody didn't like somebody and they kicked them off. That's the only information you could ever really find out right now. At least this is episode 1.5.
Yeah, I think that's a really big problem. But also, like, the Mafia werewolf games, it's all just talking anyway. Like, that's just outside of it. Now it's like it's giving you some entertainment to like make some money.
Well, as we were talking, is like Brian said he watched like live streams of people playing this game before. And I was like, Brian, those live streams, those games are over in 15 minutes. This is essentially like 8 hours of television of 10 or 20 people playing this game.
But Chris, it has Kate from Below Deck. That's why you got to watch it.
Oh my
It's got
God.
Kate from Below Deck, somebody from Survivor, somebody from Beverly Hills, Wives of Beverly Hill,
Couple Big Brothers.
couple Big Brothers.
Oh, don't forget the guy from Shaws of Sunset, that famous show that everybody knows.
Somebody was in Snake in the Grass and The Price is Right, which we did watch Snake in the Grass.
There's a guy named Kyle who was in Summer House, which is perhaps the most generic sounding reality show I've ever heard of.
Well, we've done Winter House on the podcast before.
That's right.
Summer House, I think, is just the same
Summer.
thing, but in summer, which we've been avoiding those kinds of shows for a while. So, Ryan is from Celebrity Big Brother and Dancing with the Stars. I got Stephanie's their Survivor person. Then we got regular people. So the show, there's 20 people. That's way too many people. No one cares about 20 people.
I'm sure
Yeah.
they're going to have double eliminations.
I just would rather the show be like 10 people twice in like 4 episodes. You know?
What
Like, or
does
5
that mean?
episodes.
I don't know.
So they got 20 people, they're going to go 10 episodes.
Yep.
And this have one game of, Traitor, whatever.
So you want 2 games over the course of one season?
I just think that 10 people is like, I can figure out who 10 people are pretty like easily. Like, it's not that hard to know who 10 people are, but 20 people, I have absolutely no idea. No idea who the people are. Like, I can't even guess who the people, like, if you weren't, they didn't tell us who the traitors were. I have absolutely no idea. There'd be no way to guess.
I feel like there's got to be some mechanic that they introduce later that makes this make more sense, perhaps.
They have to. There's no way anyone could find out who the traitors are in the current system.
Right, because they're not trying to fuck up the challenges.
They're not trying to fuck up the challenges.
It's wild.
Everything anyone has to talk about is who they think. Obviously, they got nothing to do, so all they have to do is talk about who the traitors are, right? But like, they have no information on who the traitors are.
The more I think about the introduction of a mechanic later, it's just it is the game. They just tacked on some challenges like Survivor style.
So the one thing to note about the show is we'll talk about the challenges more in depth. But the challenge I thought was actually it was more entertaining than last week's challenge. I thought, or 2 weeks ago challenge. Whenever we watched Special Forces show.
Oh yeah, the challenge was kind of interesting. Also, it reminded me of The Bridge.
Definitely bridge vibes. So the challenge, we'll just do it now. We have the challenge. So they had to split up into 2 teams of 10. The winner got 20,000 and the loser got 10,000 added to the pot. It's so fucking silly.
There's no penalty for coming in second. It's just like, oh yeah, you make less money. Oh, like that. You still fucking made money.
Like, it should have been, okay, you don't finish, you lose $10,000. But like, everyone's incentivized to win the challenge.
Yeah.
Anyway, so and then in those teams, they had to actually split up into 2 teams themselves. So there were 4 teams. 2 teams had to row a boat out to like somebody and get fire, bring it back.
Yeah,
Then
there's a guy sitting in the middle of this lake with a torch on fire, and you have to go there and light your stick on fire and row back.
So that's what half the teams are doing. A quarter of one team, half of one team, a quarter of everyone. Very confusing. Then the other half, they're like near these giant like wooden statue kind of things. You think they're wooden? I don't know if they're wooden.
Very, very like How to Get Burned vibes.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely very much like a Blair Witch in the middle of the woods, scary kind of like situation you're looking at here. And their goal is to get rope, like put some gasoline on the rope, and then like light it on fire with the fire from the boat, and then these things will like kind of flame up and blow up, kind of. Well, yeah. So we had a little snafu. So we're back. We're talking about this challenge, and I thought it was entertaining. It wasn't like the best challenge, but I did appreciate the like presentation of the fire going on these like giant things, and I appreciate like they had to get actual gasoline on these things. Supposedly, I don't know if I can really quantify that as done, but probably. I think probable.
Yeah, the
Uh,
presentation, high quality stuff.
yeah,
You know,
high
both
quality challenge.
both teams had rough, arguably interesting things to do.
The like compared to the special forces challenge, like that seemed like a really tough challenge, and I think a really good challenge for a person to go through, but it's not very entertaining. Whereas I think
The,
this challenge is like the complete opposite. It's like,
special forces jump out of a helicopter is not that crazy to me.
well, I was more referring to the cavern gap thing that we watched.
Oh, see, I only watched half the episode like a sane person.
um, but yeah, let's see what else is going on in this show. Yeah, so one thing that kind of bothered me about the challenge was that they made like somewhat of a deal about finding a key, but they only showed one team finding the key.
Oh, interesting.
Right? Like they made a big deal about like they had to open the gas canister, and they show one team opening the gas canister with this giant chain thing. And I was like, "Oh, the other team's got to do that now too." And they had already done it or something, and like not brought up at all.
Yeah, you only see one gas canister. It's pretty weird.
Yeah, I thought that's probably failure on somebody on the set somewhere, I imagine. But like that was jarring to me, at least. So anyway, they win $30,000 in this challenge, and then they go back to the house and hang out. Like I don't understand what's going on at the house, but they're hanging out, I guess.
You get to talk with one another, learn about one another, catch them in some lies.
Why would Trader have any incentive to lie?
I don't know.
That's what I'm saying. It's like, what
Yeah.
are you going to catch a trader in when he's got no incentive to lie?
They're just gonna pull moves like that one dude who's like, "Hey, I heard everybody like who's a trader needs to go into the other room, see the host for a second."
I just don't understand what I'm watching for right now. Like, okay, you're hanging out. Sure, whatever. Like, get some Big Brother vibes, I guess. You're hanging out. It's just no game though.
Yeah, but you don't know like what they're talking about or like what could even lead them to it. Which is, I guess also the very first everything, you have no data and you could just throw a dart at the board. That person gets voted out. It's like, oh my god, this is a big deal. Like, why would you choose that person? You get everybody thinking. And then
I mean, that's the only thing they have to go on is who gets voted out and who was saying that they would vote them out or not vote. Like, that's the only thing you're sitting there talking about. Who's the traitor? What would you do if you were the traitor? Who do you think is going to be gone? Blah, 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 blah. And like trying to figure out who the traitor is based on that information alone, which if you're the traitor, I don't know. You could say anything you want.
Yep.
Like there's just like, or not the traitor. Like, I don't understand how that's helpful.
Well, at some point, the traders also have to play an interesting game. Like,
what game? Like, they're just right now. They're not doing anything interesting.
No, but like later, now it's like, oh, we still have 3 people. How do I get it down to 2 people so I can get more of that pot?
Or okay, the last like 2 episodes of this thing could be interesting.
Yeah, exactly.
I am reasonably sure they're going to add some gimmick to the game that gives the faithful more clues as to the traitors.
Do you think it'll be cryptic clues about somebody's past again?
No, no. This show is better than that.
Like once upon a pale blue moon sky, they had pale blue hair in their gymnastics championship from 2018 or 20,
This show is better put together than Snake in the Grass.
Yeah. It'd be great if like somebody got a power that was just like, okay, yeah, you mention somebody's name and you get to see if they're a traitor or not.
It is kind of interesting that this kind of format has really come back with a vengeance.
It really has.
Like we've done so many of these reality shows. And
It's Mole
before,
Month.
like last year, we did one show like this. It was called The Mole.
Yep.
And like the Joe Schmo show to an extent, maybe. But like in the last year, this is like our 5th or 6th one.
Totally. I mean, we did have Mole Month. We did go looking for this, but there's a lot.
Yeah, I can't. I feel like Rat in the Kitchen did it the best.
R.I.P.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
I forgot about
We
that.
potted on, and then it
It
was immediately
disappeared.
removed.
I'm sorry. I
Has
guess I
that-
shouldn't have brought it up. I'm still
I
upset.
mean, I was the one that brought the show up. It's the one that did it the best.
Yeah.
That's so sad. That's like this show has the ability to change it at any point, so you're right, Max. They could change it, and I hope they do, but from what I'm looking at, I don't know. So then Brian and I actually watched the first half of the next episode. So we did find out who got kicked off. It
Yeah.
was Raza.
Yep.
Is that how you pronounce his name?
Yeah. The Shah of Sunset.
Oh yeah. That dude was very boisterous. I think he like put himself out there. Like you don't come in just like making jokes and like you kind of want to lay low a little bit, so then it's not like, oh, that dude can like mess up our plans. Let's get him first.
Weird choice for the first guy to kick out.
Deadline just sorry, tangent. Deadline just reported Right in the Kitchen was canceled at TBS. I'm like, duh, it's been gone from the network for months now.
Oh, so wild.
So like it's officially canceled, which, duh. So anyway,
we got to find it.
Yeah, we do it to our listeners to find some sort of way for you to watch that.
Wow, yeah, what the fuck? It was reported 6 hours ago. What are the chances?
Sorry about our tangent. Back to our regular scheduled program. And then they were going to do another challenge, but it was the same thing where like if the teams completed the challenge, they got money. There was didn't seem any incentive for the Traitors to not do it.
Yeah, there's got to be something later. Like it's like, oh, if you don't find this person, then some of these people. If you don't find them, then like the traitor pot gets grows or something like that. Introduce a traitor pot.
I just don't think. I mean, if they were going to do a traitor pot, they probably should have already done it.
I don't think it matters in the first one.
I don't know about that. Anyway, yeah. So like that's kind of the show. I mean, we could talk a little bit about the host here.
There's a lot to say about the host, I think.
I think the host is really trying something. Like he's really bringing this like dark, foreboding energy to the show, and I think it's a little too much. But he is like masterful at it.
But he owns it.
No. What he is trying to do, he is doing magnificently. But I just don't want him to do it.
Okay.
I don't think it creates a great tone for this show. Like I'm all about the tones. If you've listened to this podcast, we gotta talk about the tones of the show. And like there's like no levity from this guy at all. He's just like, we're doing, and they're gonna come back and they're gonna get $5,000 if they find the person, and if they don't find the person, they don't get $5,000, and it's a big deal. We're all talking about big deals here, and you need to find that person because you need that $5,000. And it's like providing this vibe of like everything is life or death, and it's just like I'm in like a castle, like Dracula's castle at this point. Like if I don't stop Dracula, he's gonna suck everyone's blood, and I gotta I gotta light this torch on fire, or Dracula wins, and the world's over. Or so like it just like I need some levity sometimes. Then they provide some levity when like they go to some of the challenge people, and they're like, some guy's like, I gotta find a secret door, and him just like touching stuff, and it was pretty funny. I was like, oh, that's kind of funny, but it's stark contrast from the host that's providing this dark vibe.
I mean, there was happy vibes at breakfast. There's some happy vibes, but not
No,
like
no, I'm just saying the host is bringing dark vibes.
Okay.
But the challengers are bringing mostly, neutral to positive to like not too much negative vibes. Just kind of, but like up against Alan coming here.
Yeah, they just Alan Cumming can do whatever he wants. Like he could be like the foreboding thing. Like he's not there all the time too. Like he's only really like there for the going away parties and the challenge setups.
I mean, I just think he sets a bad tone. That's just me.
I completely disagree. I think it's campy. It's
Yeah.
it's not like, you're all gonna die. It's the guy's holding like a kilt blanket half the time.
I don't know. I get a real serious vibe from this guy. I don't like it.
I think
I
it's
mean, he's a serious actor.
yeah.
He was Nightcrawler. Okay.
I was about to say that's his apex. He's Nightcrawler. He was also in Spy Kids.
Oh, great! That's a pretty good.
He was also in Goldeneye.
Yeah.
I don't know who he was in Goldeneye though, but I haven't seen that movie in a while.
He did have some good quotes in this, like the only nights you'll be dealing with are long and restless.
That was pretty good. But that's the vibe he's bringing.
Yeah,
it's like you're literally at Dracula's castle here. So here's top 4 he's known for. We've already gone through X2. He's Nightcrawler, and then Goldeneye is his next. But then we got Son of the Mask, which has one of the lowest IMDb ratings I've ever seen at a 2.2. And he's in something called The Anniversary Party. So,
okay.
Like, I feel like if he was in Spy Kids, that's got to trump some of those movies, no?
Yeah, he was like the main bad guy in Spy Kids 1, I think.
That seems weird.
Yeah, he was. Weird.
Yeah. He's done a lot of TV. He's like a character actor in TV, it looks like, for a while.
Now, interestingly, the Traitors is, again, this is not the origin of the Traitors. It is like all reality shows, it comes from Dutch TV. Why are the Dutch so good at making TV? So I was totally expecting this like very Scottish man to be the host of the Traitors UK, but he is not.
I think that American television just isn't good at innovating. Like they're just not. Like because I think that something comes through like an American television production has to be like the best thing ever. It can't be just like, oh, okay, and we'll like innovate on it next season or make it better next season. It's just like it's got to be a banger from the start, and it's got to go through like a million. Like how many shows have we seen where it's just like they're trying too hard and like too many sob stories and like not actually trying to make a show. They're just trying to get interesting people, like weird people in the same place to get them to do weird things or, have drama blow up. They're not trying to do anything other than that.
Totally.
Most of the time.
Yep.
America's just like very cutthroat. There's a billion ideas. Like, why not just go with something else that they know will make money?
I think a counter example though might be like cooking or like house renovation shows, because they really like to greenlit like a million of those. And I think they do try to innovate a little bit on those shows. Maybe not like vastly different, but some of them are different. Try to set themselves apart. But yeah, I mean, we could talk about the Traitors. We got Siri, Christian, and Cody are the Traitors. It was kind of interesting how they picked the Traitors. They were all in a circle and did the like touch their shoulder, which I thought might be the only place where you'd actually get definitive information about who the traitor is. Because there is, you're next to one of these people, you might be able to hear something.
Yep.
I think that's the only way you'd know.
I can't place where, but I feel like I've done this system in some board game or Mafia I've played. Maybe there was like some non-playing person who did it. I don't know. I
know when I was playing Resistance, you would like everyone would close their eyes and then the traitors would open their eyes so they could see who they were. Which kind of you get similar vibe here, but it's got like a duck duck goose kind of situation. combined with that.
Chasing around the table.
Yeah, and there's obviously nothing to say about these traders because there's like no fun game to do with these traders.
We know nothing yet. Like, we're gonna know stuff later. Like, we're gonna know their motivations and stuff. I don't know. Like,
what do you mean their motivation is to win $250,000?
yeah, but like, I mean, in like side stuff, it's like, oh yeah, I did this because of XYZ. Yeah.
I think we're all kind of on the same page here.
Yeah. We gotta move on.
All right, let's do some questions. You guys ready for questions?
Yeah.
I'm ready.
You ready? Let's do who's the worst human being?
Nobody was that awful on the show.
Yeah, there hasn't been maybe the Beverly Hills person. She seemed kind of mean.
Yeah. Otherwise, nobody. Alan Cumming is also
Actually, I have an answer. It's the guy with the fire in a rowboat. We never got to, really get to learn his motivations, so he's probably the worst person on the show.
Probably. All right. We already went over the host, not Apex. We know that is X2, Nightcrawler, obviously. Would this show be better as a TikTok or Quibi?
I didn't feel that this show crawled that much.
I think the show would be better as a Quibi, not necessarily a TikTok.
Okay.
I think like if you were to show me like a 7-minute round of this, I think that would be fun. I think that would be more entertaining. I think there's a lot of cruft going on here. There's a lot of like whole day that they've shrunken. They like edited down to like 50 minutes, 40 minutes. And I still think I didn't need to see half of it. So like cut even more. Like have a lot, not long as a challenger. Don't even have challenges. Just talk about it. Who are you going to kick off? Like have it be, you're going to base your show off a board game, like fucking play the board game at a reasonable time frame,
Yep.
Brian?
Yeah, considering I like watched people play this on Twitch like really rapidly, yeah, it would probably be better as a Quibi.
I mean, it'd probably be ideal as like reformatted to just be the board game.
Yeah, like you don't need the challenges. You don't need this like incentive to do the money unless like we find something later where it's like, oh, the winners get something else. Like right now we have nothing to go on, and just based off this, I think that they could drop the challenges.
It is, I think the show would I think it would be better if 20-minute show, 24-minute show or whatever, just one like Mafia. Now, would that be a game show or a reality show?
It'd be close. I think it would still be a reality show, even though like it's still something that you win. Like Snake in the Grass and Rat in the Kitchen we're still not game shows; they were reality shows.
Yeah, that's fair. I do think it feels more like a game show. Those feel like game shows.
But even then, if they didn't have challenges, what would they be?
They're just the board game. Or like, so when you play Resistance, what happens is like, say there's 5 of us Resistance, and there's 2 traitors. So the 5 of you would collectively decide on who goes on a mission. So you'd say, Brian, Max, you're going to go on a mission together. And then you have to decide whether that mission succeeds or fails. If you both say it succeed, then it succeeds. If one of you says it fails, it fails. So like you have to send, say it comes back failure. Then Brian or Max is a traitor because they're the only ones on the mission and they're the only ones that could have failed it. And if you're not a traitor, you can't fail missions. So there's no can't play weird. Yeah. So that's what the game is you sending people on missions to get information to figure out if you're a traitor or not. And the traitors have to if they fail 2 missions, then they win. And so if the traitors don't fail enough missions, then they lose. So there's different goals and you try to figure out what's going on. And this show doesn't have any of that.
Yep.
Maybe they just need more of that. They need different goals. And then this show could be entertaining.
Right.
I just don't understand how they're not different goals. It's really what I'm coming back to. Anyway.
Yeah.
Drinking rules. I think this is what we really need. Brian, what drinking rules we got?
Every time Alan Cummings says a creepy line, take a drink.
So you're just drunk.
He doesn't say that many. Like he's got some good ones, but like they're all not all creepy.
Anytime somebody accuses somebody of being the traitor.
Good one.
Specifically, like by name. take a drink. Max?
I don't have one.
We can come back to you. I think you should take a cheers drink if somebody wins a challenge, and you should take a longer drink if they lose. Brian, you got another one?
Finish your drink when they stamp the envelope. Like there was a pretty good ceremony with the traitors. Like they sign it, whoever they want to die, and then they put the wax seal on it, and then hand it to over to Alan.
Oh, yo, pause. The thing they hand to Alan, it's totally a Taskmaster task.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you got to wax seal them. They're the best.
Yep.
I mean, you should drink when they drink. I think that's going to happen in the show. They're not going to be doing too much except for drinking.
Every time somebody has a hooded cloak and they unveil themselves, take a drink.
That's a good one. I like that one. All right, I think that's good. That's good. Brian, what do you love about this show?
I love that we actually know who the traitors are and we're not trying to guess it. Like I want to see the whole game, not just like figure it out at the end. Because like the mole, I see who the traitor is, and like maybe you have some suspicions or not. It's just you're never gonna go back and like look at what they did.
That is right. That is the really big difference in this show. Is like you watch Rat in the Kitchen, which R.I.P. You don't know who it is, and you're trying to figure it out. But this one, you do know who they are. So that is a big difference. I didn't even think about that. Max, what do you love about this show?
I enjoy the general vibe. I know you disagree, Chris, but like a spooky old Scottish castle, this weird host. It's all a little campy, but the production value is pretty high. It's very clearly, I think, a British production. It's too good for American production. Yeah.
What I love about the show, I think the one thing I really, really loved about the show was the meeting room place, the like set they had where everyone was sitting around a table was amazing. I think that might have been the best set I've ever seen in a reality show. It was just so cool. And I think the challenge was pretty good. I liked the challenge, and I think that bodes well for the future of the show because you're kind of just watching challenges. So that's where we're at. So then we'll do a stack ranking. We stack rank this reality show against other reality shows. So we got a top, middle, bottom, third. Some people stack rank in their stack ranks. Brian, what do you got for me?
Honestly, I'm gonna have to go with bottom of the top. I plan to watch more of this. And like I think that this could be an easy background show, and I want to see what changes they incorporate to make it actually give them a fighting chance.
Wow. Max, what do you got for me?
Middle third, top of the middle. I enjoyed it. It wasn't top third, but it was perfectly fine. It kept my attention more or less.
Oh man, now you're really putting a lot of pressure on me here.
No, Chris, speak your truth.
Your life.
I really debate between bottom and middle here. I'm going to put in the bottom of the middle because I think that the challenge really redeemed itself. I think the challenge was interesting to watch, and it didn't feel like it was crawling. So I didn't immediately check out, which is something that bottom third shows really do to me. But Brian, if you come back to me and tell me, it changes in episode 7 or whatever, I might stick in there. I just think it's so silly. Like it makes no sense to not to, it's just like a mystery show, but there's like it's almost like they don't. It's like trying to find a murderer and they didn't actually murder anything or leave any clues. You don't get to look at any clues. You're just looking around and be like, I guess Max did it.
Yeah. No, I agree.
Like I don't understand how you're supposed to find out who it is.
I agree. I'll come back and report next week with what they changed. And if they change nothing, then my rating will probably change.
All right. Well, they have it. Come back next week. Which, speaking of next week, we're going to be watching MILF Manor season 1, episode 1 next week as part of Love Month. Love Month, everyone.
We got to come up with drinking rules beforehand. I've already seen several TikToks about
apparently
how
it's
bad
blowing up on the TikToks. Do we need to get on the TikToks, Brian?
Yeah.
Okay. We need to get on TikToks, apparently. So Brian, you want to propose some drinking rules for us to do during MILF Manor? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah,
Do you have any?
I have some. Drink every time you see a shirtless guy.
Shirtless guy. That's a good one.
Drink every time there's a joke about like MILF, a cougar, or something like of those natures.
Oh, you got to take a shot when they reveal the twist.
Ooh, yeah.
When they reveal the twist. Well, I'm not going to reveal the twist for you listeners at home if you have not watched it. So when the twist happens, get that shot glass ready.
I mean, I'm gonna not intentionally reveal the twist. I don't know if this happens in the show. I'm just taking a stab in the dark. Every time somebody says the word Oedipus, take 2 drinks.
Oh, or like Siegfried.
Sure.
Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah. Not a hint there at all. Brian, you have any others?
I think that's good. I think we might follow these beforehand. That it might be a good podcast. It might be a bad
All right,
podcast.
keep them written down so we have them.
Good thing it's recorded.
Well, you listen to it again, okay?
Yeah.
All right. Well, you can. That's it for our discussion this week. You can vote in our poll on Twitter and tell us what you thought about this show. What was the show called? Traitors.
Yep, the
I
Traitors.
got really excited about MILF Manor, guys. I'm gonna be honest.
I can't believe it.
Who put this on? I mean, my prediction is not going to be a good show, but I'm excited because Brian looks like he's like he has no desire to watch this, and I just want to watch him. I just want him to do it.
You gotta make him cringe.
Oh no.
All right, so we do some shout outs. Anyone got any shout outs? Brian, you have a shout out this week?
That 90s show. So
what about it?
In the realm of reboots of like Fuller House, now we have that 90s show where the gang's all back but older, and then they have kids, which is probably a bad idea. So far though, the cameos are very cringy. Like everybody at the end of that 70s show is very flanderized. Like you almost saw like no growth, and they were just locked in like these shitty patterns. And that 90s show continues those.
Except for maybe Hyde, but Hyde can't come back.
Hyde can't come back. He's done. Like that's canceled. The kids, they casted the same, and that was fine. I'm totally okay with that because it's teenagers. Just they're gonna be living their life as every teenager does.
I'd argue most of the kids are already flanderized.
Oh yeah, they're very flanderized towards like the old group, and I totally agree.
They could grow. I think Fez is very creepy, and the fact that he has no kids, I feel like it's unrealistic. Fez
is getting all the.
Fez is definitely in his 20s. He's banging around town.
Oh,
100%.
All the tail.
Yeah, he's gonna have so many kids. He might not be like involved in their life, but like.
No, okay, Chris. Season 2, he gets a phone call. It's his kid he didn't know about.
Oh, I don't know why they wouldn't do that to begin with.
Just, you got to have some character development. You got to have...
yeah, by adding new characters.
You got to have a weird hook.
My shout out, Max, is The Last of Us. Last of Us came out on HBO Max. 2 episodes are out. It's pretty good. It was a hard show for me to start because like I know what it's about.
And also the first episode's 80 minutes.
Yeah, I watched it. I watched like 60 minutes and then 20 minutes. I don't like Stranger Things really broke me because season 4 had like episodes that were like 2.5 hours long or something. So I like, I'll watch to when I can watch and then I'll leave. I would watch it. I think that what's his face from The Mandalorian is really good. What's his name?
Pedro
Pascal. He's really good. And I think the person that plays Ellie is really good. The girl in the second episode. Great. You should watch it. Max, any shout outs?
Not particularly. My cousin threw on the Netflix Bernie Madoff documentary. It wasn't that good.
There you go. Brian and I watched Missing last night.
What is that?
It's a movie in theaters. It's one of those like everything, like the whole movie is somebody's computer screen,
Oh yeah. Okay,
and like
I remember.
her mom goes missing,
I remember the
and
trailer for this.
it was very good.
Okay.
Like there's a lot of twists and turns, and you won't see the twists and turns generally.
What do you
But
think of RRR?
yes, we watched RRR on Saturday. I thought it was a really good, but it was a little long.
It was way too long, but it was fun.
I thought the action scenes were phenomenal. There just wasn't enough of them.
Yeah.
Brett, Matt, Brian.
I agree. I think that it was a very well told whodunit story. Like, there's a good mystery twists.
Not
around.
missing.
Oh, not missing. Oh,
We're talking about RRR.
RRR.
I was like, mystery.
yeah,
Who done it? The British Empire.
yeah. The mystery. You did it. Yeah, that was some good action too. I think that the CGI was cool. It could easily be shortened though. It didn't need to be 3 hours.
Long. It's so long. The best scene in that movie is like right when they meet and they're like over this bridge and they do this crazy action.
That shit rules.
Indian flag. Phenomenal. Worth watching it for that scene alone.
Or just wait for RRR Kai.
Yeah, definitely. I can't imagine that like making a ton of money in the theater. It's like 3 hours. There's no way anyone's gonna see. I have no desire to watch the movie again.
Dude, it made so much money in theaters.
I know. Whereas like I like to watch Avatar. I'm like, I saw Avatar 2 twice. I thought that movie was amazing. I loved watching that movie. I'd see that again. But there's no way I'd see RRR again. But anyway, tell us what you thought about all those movies at Who Put This On. You can tell us what you thought about the show at Who Put This On. Vote in our poll. You can find us on Facebook.com/Who Put This On. You can email us questions and suggestions at whoputthison@gmail.com. And we'll see you guys next time. Sleep with one eye open,
Gripping your pillow tight.
exit light, enter night. Take my hand. We're off to Never Never Land.